It's so hard to keep track of the social media platforms that encourage us to express ourselves and contribute to us being the most connected we have ever been. Yet as people, we are so disconnected and so disenfranchised. Everyone wants to know what somebody else thinks, but this is not in order to celebrate diversity and ensure equity and inclusion, but rather to control your narrative, your direction, and decide your opportunities. We go in hard to expose, reinvigorate, and solidify our humanness and humanhood by having hard conversations centered around the question, is being a good person the same as being a good citizen? And who decides which is best? Everyone has feelings, beliefs, struggles, and dreams. But not everyone is bold enough or given the chance to speak openly about these and hold on to them. If you want to be sure you understand why society does not necessarily want good people, but instead wants good citizens, don't miss an episode. We are here once again discussing yet another high-profile cancellation. Some may disagree, but make no doubt, Kyrie Irving has been cancelled. He's still able to tweet and access various forms of social media in artificial intelligence land, but as a result of a posting he made a few weeks ago, he is definitely facing cancellation in the real world, and this type of cancellation is designed to hurt. Plato, a student of Socrates, in his book The Republic, presents Plato's Cave. I quote Plato's Cave, unquote, which depicts a dialogue between his brother Glaucon and his mentor Socrates. Plato's Cave describes humans trapped within a dark cave and who are only able to catch glimpses of the real world through shadows on the wall in front of them. You see, they are fixated on the shadows in front of them and they cannot move to see what is behind them. However, although they do not know it, their knowledge is limited and has very little basis in fact, as the shadows are not an accurate representation of the real world. Now, if one of these trapped humans is taken from the cave and placed into the real world, their first instinct is to run back to the cave because everything they are now privy to is so alien to them and the brightness hurts their eyes. However, if they embrace that which is real, they are now able to see things much clearer than their previous situation permitted. That is, they no longer see mere shadows, and it is at this point that, as Plato specifies, they are, quote, able to reason about it, end of quote, and what it is or what it means. Now, if that person is then returned to the cave, they would instinctively want to share what they had found with those who never left the cave and try to bring their fellow cave dwellers into the sunlight and the real world. However, on re-entering the cave, this person would be blinded by the darkness, and the cave dwellers who had never left the cave would infer that this person's journey outside the cave had harmed that person. As a result, they would not want to make the journey themselves and would seek to harm anyone who attempted to take them out of the cave. So what relevance, of what relevance is this to the Kyrie Irving situation, you may ask? Well, just like any one of us, Kyrie Irving is entitled to a journey of self-discovery, and this can take whatever form he chooses. Like the cave dweller, before they leave the cave, his knowledge and opinions are guided by what he has experienced up to that given point. So on his journey of self-discovery, if he comes across something new, like he did with the film or documentary titled, quote, Hebrews to Negroes, end of quote, which, by the way, was not hidden deep within the crevices of the dark web, but is globally available from the legitimate internet-based enterprise known as Amazon. So, similarly to Plato's cave dweller who leaves the cave and then returns at a later date, this new encounter presents something different, of genuine interest perhaps, that provides Kyrie Irving with a perspective that he is, as Plato says, quote, able to reason about, unquote. However, Kyrie Irving did not reason about what he had found or shared any of his opinions on what he had found. Instead, unlike the returning cave dweller, he shared exactly what he found. I repeat, Kyrie Irving shared exactly what he found. There was no need for Kyrie Irving to provide his version or interpretation of that which he had experienced on his journey. He was able to share it just as he had found it via a link to the content. The outcome of Kyrie Irving sharing exactly what he found is profound and could not have bypassed anyone unless they were living within a cave that has no shadows. Kyrie Irving's sharing of the Hebrews to Negroes film or documentary resulted in some of his former cave dwellers distancing themselves immediately. They are satisfied with being where they are and would not stand with anyone whose actions may upset that. However, there are those whose interests were aroused, not for any other reason than one perhaps of curiosity. Like any other film or documentary, they wanted to see it. Plato did not go into the reaction of those in the real world in Plato's cave. But as we see in Kyrie Irving's case, some in the real world saw his actions as troublesome and problematic. Groups who aligned themselves as being directly depicted in the content shared one of two views. There were those that saw the content as hateful and negatively directed towards them. And as a result, the content was labeled anti-Semitic. Let me repeat, there were those that viewed the content as hateful and negatively directed towards them. As a result, the content was labeled anti-Semitic, treated as anti-Semitic, and as a result, imposed on those promoting it the ever-going consequences attributed to persons considered to be the perpetrators of anti-Semitism. On the other hand, there were those that viewed the content as providing the opportunity, like Plato specifies in Plato's cave, that we as human beings are, quote, able to reason about, end of quote, and discuss what it is or means, just like we do with other films and documentaries. So, there are those who support Kyrie Irving. After all he did was share the link to a movie or documentary that has been in existence since 2018. So who makes the decision if it's hateful content or not? It would appear that these are some powerful voices, often with significant reach and very deep pockets. But to target Kyrie Irving, is that warranted or reasonable? Well, let's take a look. It appears that Kyrie Irving, described as one of basketball's most talented stars due to his social media following and his celebrity status as an athlete, prevents him from sharing a link to a film or a documentary via a tweet on Twitter. The platform Elon Musk proudly boasts supports free speech and the freedom to free speech. But guess what? Kyrie Irving did not speak. He posted a link, and creatives by their very nature create. So if the film or documentary Hebrews to Negroes is not a banned film, what did Kyrie Irving do that was so wrong? Well, as reported, according to the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, and I quote, whether or not he is anti-Semitic is not relevant to the damage caused by the posting of hateful content, unquote. But what assessment had they done to determine what damage had been caused within a period of a few weeks? Well, No scientific evidence has been presented to show that Kyrie Irving's posting has directly resulted in some specific or any type of damage. Like I said earlier, why has Jeff Bezos not been called out and put on display as a culprit benefiting from the sale of hateful content? Because apparently, after Kyrie Irving's tweet, it is reported that Hebrews to Negroes, the film or documentary, became #1 in Amazon's chart of best-selling documentaries. Has Jeff Bezos donated the proceeds he made from the documentary to the Anti-Defamation League, the US charity set up specifically, I quote, to stop the defamation of the Jewish people, end of quote? It is not widely reported that he has, but the same organization, the Anti-Defamation League, has publicly said that Kyrie Irving, quote, feels no accountability for his actions, end of quote. Now tell me, what actions are they speaking about? Posting an existing link? And furthermore, what makes them an authority on his feeling? Are they in his body? Note, all this despite the NBA commissioner, who by the way is Jewish, saying, and I quote, he, end of quote, meaning Kyrie Irving, quote, is someone I've known for a decade, and I've never heard an anti-Semitic word from him, or, frankly, hate directed at any group, end of quote. Yet, despite this, the statement that came out from his team, who would have seen many more sides to this athlete, his professional side, his playful side, his sober side, and if he drinks, his intoxicated side, said that Kyrie Irving, and I quote, is currently unfit to be associated with the Brooklyn Nets, end of quote. Well, just goes to show, even when someone vouches for you, you can still be found guilty regardless of your innocence. Not only was Kyrie Irving considered unfit, in order to become fit and game ready, he had to undergo some remedial training. Or, as the Brooklyn Nets general manager, Sean Marks, put it, Kyrie Irving will be required to take, and I quote, remedial steps. This remedial training includes counseling and meeting with Jewish community leaders. What the? I'll leave that there. Kyrie's punishment did not stop at the remedial training and the no less than 5-game ban he incurred. His earnings off court were also affected as Nike cancelled the launch of Irving's signature shoe, and thus its contractual arrangement with the athlete. Apology after apology has been demanded from Kyrie Irving. But where is the demand for an apology from Elon Musk, whose platform Twitter facilitated the posting of Kyrie Irving's tweet and the link that has become so problematic? Where is the offer of a donation to the Anti-Defamation League from Twitter? Not a chance. Elon Musk has publicly expressed that Twitter is all about free speech, so he's covered. Laugh out loud. Like I alluded to in a previous episode, we all have cause to be scared, even when our free speech centers on facts or involves sharing a film link or a documentary link, because it would appear that you can be punished when you share something new you believe others should also see, like those in Plato's cave in the darkness. If they are willing, they can see sunlight, but it's always their choice and not one that others, per se, influence. Artificial intelligence land is driving an ever-changing agenda. What is acceptable today may not be tomorrow. And this is without there being any actual change to real-world rules and regulations. But that is no reason to shy away from that which is true and that which is fact. Just know there will be consequences like those witnessed by Andrew Tate, yea, and now Kyrie Irving. The hullabaloo surrounding Kyrie Irving's post, which in itself may have gone under the radar, is also responsible for promoting the Hebrews to Negroes film or documentary. And not Kyrie Irving, but the film or documentary itself seems to have roused the feelings of some powerful voices. But consider this for a moment. When the identity of a people is taken away or erased, is there no consideration by anyone that one day one, if not more of them, will seek the truth about their origin, ethnicity, and true identity? And where they solicit this information from to aid the discovery will vary and may well involve movies and or documentaries. Who am I? I don't know. Are you shocked? Every time I try to find out my true identity and ethnicity, I am blocked. I'm not sure whether erasing a people's identity is the same as identity theft. But on the journey to find out, I'll leave no rock unturned. No rock will be left. In the words of Damian Marley in his track, "Life is a circle," and I quote, "Some people with us, some wear their frown. Still I know my purpose is to share what I found. Some people insist to wear others down, but all will bear witness unto who wears the crown. Oh, time has no master. We're all in suspense. Man too out of order. Too much ill intent." End of quote. This is Ava Dana. Look out for our next episode or press the subscribe button.
Thank you.